county's invited me and said to pass it on to you all to December the 15th at the community center up by the high school. I believe it's 6 p.m. If you want to stop in and eat with the county. December the 16th is our fire department has their annual Christmas dinner. This year they chose to have it at the fire station number 2. So they're gonna clean everything out and eat in the bay area like they do at fire school. They cook their own turkeys in deep fryers, and so they have turkey and the like, and that's at 6 o'clock on December the 16th. So obviously, city council members and employees of the city are welcome. The toys.
The giveaway will be December the 21st.
At Station 2?
Station 2, starting at 10 in the morning.
So toy giveaway
10.
Is December 21st at Station 2, 10 a.m. So if you know a family that needs toys for the kids, they've done a great job this year rounding up toys from everywhere. Also, the employee Christmas dinner for our city employees, since I've been here, it seemed like it just doesn't work that well at night. Everybody has so much to do that time of year. So we always just have a luncheon right before Christmas break. But this year I did have somebody that stepped up and wanted to donate and pay for it. And I decided we're gonna do it up at the Carter Room, just up the street here. Cause we've been trying to do it in here, and then we had to come in that morning and try to get drinks and all that. And we've been bringing our own sides because we don't spend city money on it. So this year, since we had a donation for the money, for the food, we don't have to fool with the food. We're gonna have it at the Carter Room and get it catered up there. And so at 1 o'clock on December 22nd, if you wanna come and eat with the city workers, there'll be enough for you council members. I think you come last year, didn't you, Joey, here? You know how crowded it kinda is in here, so we're gonna go up there. They'll have plenty of tables and chairs, and Kathy and the girls from Waterhouse won't have to do the gin whacking and preparing and cleaning up and all that. So, Bud, put that on your calendar, 1 o'clock December 22nd.
I already have.
And so come up to the Carter Room. If you don't know where that's at, it's the old Louisa flower shop. It's right beside the Garden Theater, coming this way from the Garden Theater. And the food will be in there and be ready for you. Mr. David McKenzie is going to update us on the program that we supported at the nursing day.
I was listening carefully to Bud swearing in. I didn't know dueling was still a problem, but I'm glad we got that taken care of. I am so pleased to come to you all tonight and tell you how things have progressed. We're getting nationwide recognition for this program, and I got contacted just last month by a reporter from National Public Radio out of San Francisco, and she wanted to know how such a program could happen in such a small town. I said, well, thank God in a town like this. This is a special place. I said, a program like this couldn't happen anywhere else but here. And I mean, you all, I got so many stories I'd love to share with you. I'm not gonna take that much of your time, but if any of you ever wanna hear more details, please come see me. But you all are the ones, you're the catalysts that made this happen. I'm proud to tell you, well, I got notification while I was sitting here. We had 4 ladies this morning go down to Pikeville to test. They all passed. They started on the 20th in Henderson, Kentucky at Red Bank Nursing Home. They're gonna be their newest employees. So we have trained and certified 15 people, and we've placed them all on jobs in nursing homes from Pikeville to Henderson and Owensboro and everything in between. So I think if I were you all, I'd feel very proud of what you've done, because we could have never gotten this off the ground without you. And now that we have, some success and data, we've been tracking all the data very carefully on these folks to see how they're doing. And, that hopefully will pave the way for funding to get more, because I think I told you originally, if this is successful, I would like to train up to 250 people a year and put them in placement around the state in permanent jobs. So think about this, many of the people that we trained, many were homeless a year ago, living in the streets, doing Lord knows what to survive. Many of them were selling drugs to survive. They were deep in addiction. Many had been in addiction for decades. They are now tax-paying citizens working at a job that we need desperately, serving our most frail and elderly people of our state. That's no small feat, is it? It's a big deal. We have had some, I'm gonna tell you though, we lost somebody 2 weeks ago, first graduate of our program. I got a little video with her, and I didn't think it's not big enough to show you all. But
I couldn't put it, but.
I'm sorry, and I'll bring that another time to use. I want you to meet this lady. Her name was Ingrid Jackson, and she was an inspiration to every one of us. Honestly, I wouldn't have come to you all asking for money had it not been for her. She forbade me to give up. She said, don't you stop. The funding got yanked just days before we were ready to start our program. She said, Mr. David, please get out there, do whatever you can. And she lit a fire under me, and she inspired all of us. And I went to her funeral last week with her family and friends, and you know, she came from the west end of Louisville. It was a whole different world from this. But you know, the 9 months she lived here in Louisa, she thought she found utopia. And how often do you hear that people say that about Louisa? She thought, this is the best place in the world. I've never found a place like this. I'm loved and respected here. I feel safe here. She was actively trying to get her sister, her daughter, who's also a CNA in nursing school, her son, her mother. She was trying to move the whole family. She's got a huge family. She must have 100 cousins. And she wanted them all to move to Louisa because she believed in this place and the love that she felt from the people that lived here and the respect. And, you know, she's an African American woman, by the way, and she felt quite at home here and did not want to go back to Louisville. But she went there for Thanksgiving to visit her family. She passed away. We don't know what happened yet. Quite honestly, there's a what do you call it? Can't get my words out. An autopsy being performed, and it's under review. There may have been somebody may have done something to her. We don't know yet. But that's the kind of world that she came from. You know, she came from a real rough environment, and that's why she didn't want to go back there. She wanted to restart her life here. But anyway, and I think the world of her. I respect her so much, and you would have too if you'd had a chance to meet her. I was honestly hoping she'd be here with me today to present to you all. But I would bet everything I had on her that. I'll just tell you this one last thing about her. She was the happiest. Her family told me, don't feel sad, we got our girl back, and this is the happiest we've seen her in decades. She told me that too. She said, I feel like me again. And she was very, very happy. Oh, she was enrolled in college in January. She was going back to school. She wanted to be a nurse. She just put a down payment on a new car, and she was planning on going Christmas shopping just days before she passed away. So this lady in no way thought her future was over. She thought her life was just beginning. I'm sorry that she's not with us right now, but that has been our one setback. But everything else has gone better than planned. Everybody else is making it. Everybody else is alive and well and happy. And I thank every one of you all for what you did.
I want to commend you for your work, because I feel like you made a lot of it happen. Maybe you made it all happen.
It's group effort. Thank you, Bud, but it's been a group effort. I got a team of people behind me that are fantastic. It was actually one of my nurses that came up with the idea 2 or 3 years ago. She said, "You're going to think I'm crazy, but you know, we need staff, and here's what we ought to do. She planted the seed, and I took it and ran with it, but it was her idea. One of those suggestion box things, you know, you think those never work, right? But
If I might add to that a little bit, on the alcohol ordinance, when the alcohol ordinance was passed in 2016, I believe it was, or 15, I've just been elected 3 terms ago. Everything was new, everybody was nervous and antsy about it, and a lot of unknowns about it, and the city council had, for the first time ever, to put forth an ordinance that was going to establish some guidelines about alcohol. Across the state of Kentucky, alcohol sales starts at noon and ends at midnight, with the exception of New Year's Eve, where it automatically is extended to 2 a.m. across the state. In Kentucky, if local cities or counties want to restrict that more, they can, and specifically on Sunday. So currently in Louisa, it's noon to
3.
midnight,
3.
every day except Sunday, and then
6 a.m. to 2 a.m.
yes,
every day but Sunday.
and then on Sundays, 3
3 p.m.
p.m. to midnight. And so what she would like to do is on I would imagine most of the cities around us is noon on Sunday. I don't know that, but I'm assuming.
Well, the one that I
Because that's a
know of,
state law.
Right.
And ours was more restrictive than this. And I honestly think that, I was here, none of you all were, 6 years or 9 years ago. I think there was a thought that there was gonna be restaurants open all over the place that served alcohol, and they wanted to restrict that by the drink on Sundays until 3 o'clock. As it's turned out, one of the restaurants here doesn't even do Sunday sales at all. They don't serve alcohol on Sunday at all, because that's a choice they're allowed to make if they choose to do that. So, what her and Food City and others are saying is it's kinda like they're restricted to 3 when right across the bridge they're not.
Right. And we pay our alcohol tax on time every month, and that's money you are losing too.
It is an ordinance, so it would require, an ordinance change, just a simple change from 3 to noon, and then you'd have to have first reading, second reading, publish in the paper, and take effect, like I said, probably be March.
Right. There's no way getting around Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve though.
No, we can, well, since you brought that up, we'll discuss it. Hunter's gonna bring you all tomorrow, all the licensees, a memo that's, I have reviewed the ordinance, and I've also had the attorney to review the ordinance. Christmas Eve is not an issue, it's never been, it's not mentioned in the ordinance, so nothing changes on Christmas Eve.
On Sunday.
On Sunday, so as of today, Christmas Eve will be typical Sunday sales, 3 to midnight. Yes. The New Year's Eve holiday, the state changes the deadline to 2, but there's nothing that allows us to change the 3. So it would be 3 to 2 on.
So it'd be the same as what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the ordinance doesn't say I have the ability to change it, I don't have the
Right.
ability to change it.
Yeah, like what we talked about.
Our
Is it that big of a
ordinance-
difference? Do you have that many from 12 to 3 that are begging for?
Well, we have some, yeah, but like Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve both are on Sunday this year, and that's gonna kill us. That's our 2 busiest days of the year. I mean, it's not gonna kill us, but, you know,
Right.
which we still have a lot of people that try and buy before 3 after, all this time. And every Sunday you're telling them no.
Yeah, but ours is more restricted to 3.
So what are we amending, just, we move
Well-
it from 3 to noon?
Yeah, if the council chose to do
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
they chose to take some time to research, look at what people
Can't
do.
throw out a bribe or anything. Just saying, you know.
At least it would be there for next.
Cash works.
Talk about it outside.
start selling ice cream at noon?
We sell ice cream all day, yeah, we sell anything, yeah.
It's,
What's the pleasure of the council? Is it something y'all wanna vote on, you wanna research
I
and
say
consider?
vote on it, yeah. I think we just need to make a
Vote.
motion. I'm all for it.
Can't vote on it till
I'm
somebody
all
makes
for
a
it.
motion.
Well, and what all this would be tonight is to say there's interest, and Bud would have to change the ordinance, and then you would have to, have first reading, second reading. And so, have a motion by Mr. Farley, second by Mr. Robertson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, okay, so it's the first step, we'll have to redo the ordinance.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
We'll have to redo the ordinance, and then, first reading, second reading, run in paper.
Sounds good, thank you so much.
But in his case, it's a simple, situation. He's talked to me a couple of times, we've done some research. I think we at least know enough to where you all could be informed and make a decision. Bill, do you want to propose to him what you want?
I think some of you, most of you know, there was a group of us, about a year and a half ago, took over Green Lawn Cemetery. And, you know, it's back where it pretty much needs to be, other than you got a lot of loafers up there. And people up there that's done things that shouldn't be done up there. And I approached Harold about annexing just for the police patrol only. That's it, that's all we're interested in. And you informed me that it was on hold.
Right.
Well, after researching, it's on hold until, I think, July 1st, 24. With the exception of if somebody approaches you, you know, wanting to annex, and it joins another piece of property, and I can't think of something else, but I can't remember what it was. But anyhow, there's one other small piece of property that you'd have to annex to connect with Green Line. And we've already talked to them, and they're in an agreement to go ahead and do it. Cost, I proposed to Harold that we will cover that cost. We've got a donor that will donate the money to cover that cost. So, you know, to send the maps or whatever to the state, and that's pretty much it. And like I say, the only thing we're wanting is just police patrol every now and then. I was up there today, and I had two sit there forever, and finally I got out and asked them, you know, I said, y'all need to find another place to meet. And I said, I knew you was here. I said, pay attention to the sign out front. It's monitored, cameras, you know, it's monitored. And, you know, a lot of people don't pay attention to that, but there's cameras up there. And pretty much when you go through, we don't know who you are, but we know you're there. It's not to where, you know, if you go over to somebody's grave, that's not it. It's just on the roads and stuff. But we would like to have it annexed. We will pay all the fees to have it annexed, whatever it may be. That's it.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of whether they wanna do it, and then we have to have, it's been a while since we've annexed anything, but we have to have a proposed annexation ordinance and an annexation ordinance. But, and, you know, as far as annexing, it's not for a special purpose, it's either in the city or it's out of the city. But I don't think that's your concern.
I hope it wouldn't create a hardship on you, Greg.
No, actually, myself, I go up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Next Wednesday.
Does the county, are they able to go up there?
I've asked them to, and I've seen them sporadically. You know, it's fallen off, but yeah, I've seen them up there sporadically.
I just thought that would help them too.
Let me ask you this, and I'm the genealogy guy down at the library, and I've heard conflicting reports. Do we have a cemetery board for the county? Do you know, cause I've heard we do, and I've
I
heard.
think there is, yes, I think, Mary Ellen Reed and, Denver Chapin Jr. take care of Pine Hill. Now, for the county, I'm not sure,
Okay,
But you guys are not on that board.
no,
gotcha.
no.
Okay.
So
That-
we've
yeah,
got
that
our
was
own board,
my next part of my question.
we don't do anything, you know, unless we vote on it, as a board.
What's your board called?
Huh?
Do you have a name?
It's Green Lawn Cemetery Preservation.
They're a little bit different because they're funded, they're perpetual care.
Yes,
And
yes,
Pine
there is
Hill's
a
not.
trust,
They have trust, Pine Hill is not
There's a
a trust.
trust. but basically, the only thing that trust is used for is mowing the grass. Anything else you see is pretty much done.
I accidentally got your all's mail in the genealogy society account.
So, with Bill's research, there is one little, but we can't annex something that's not contiguous with
That's
the
correct,
city.
it has to,
So there is one small piece of property
Yes.
between us and Green Lawn that would
Yes.
have to be annexed as well, so that's one property owner. He had a little, a question or concern about, our mobile home ordinance. He called, and I went over him with that with him, and after that, he said, I'm fine with it, if that helps the cemetery, I'm for it. So, you would have, he would be the only,
well, yeah, I think you'd have to, it's been a while since we've done any annexation, but my recollection is, the easiest way to do it is you get it with consent.
yeah, that's what this would be. Now, I think with the new moratorium in place, one of the rules is we have to notify the county. That
Yeah,
we're
yes, that's it.
We have to notify the county that we're annexing part of county.
Green Lawn was it, you're a nonprofit corporation, is that?
Yes, it's a nonprofit now.
Okay, well, we probably want the consent, from you all to be annexed.
Yeah.
But,
And then what I spoke to him about was, it's not that everything the city does has to be about money, not that, but this, our annexation is not gonna increase revenue because they're a nonprofit organization, they're not gonna pay taxes. So we're gonna be providing services. So for that reason, I said,
There is a section up there, that, yes, we. do
oh, that's
pay
right,
tax
you
on.
said there's one
Yes.
there's one lot that. we do pay
A
tax.
property that goes from one cemetery to the other, both sides of the road, down in the hollow, on the hill.
Does get a tax rate.
Yes, we do pay taxes on it.
So, but anyway, that's the reason, they understand that, and that's the reason they stepped up and said we would pay for the surveying and submitting the map, and we wouldn't have to hire that done, cause.
Would
they
that
really-
one homeowner have to pay city taxes then?
It would.
He was okay.
It'd be very
There's
minimal.
no building on it, so it probably would
It'd be
be
very
$20.
minimal.
So what do we do?
But I've not looked at it in a while either, I guess we would just instruct you to, we have to have an ordinance of intent, don't we?
it's been a while since I've looked at it, but there's an intent ordinance, then there's they can either protest it or not, or they can get consent, and then there'd be a final annexation ordinance.
Yeah, it's a process. Sounds like, if we get a general feeling that city council would be in favor of it, we could ask Bud to go ahead and draw up the, intent to annexation and have it at the next meeting for approval.
Will this include the street or that road going through each one of them, that we would do anything on that, or are we only talking for the protection of the police, or?
Police
But
zone.
it'd just be police, huh?
Police zone.
Okay. Bill, I make that motion that,
But
we proceed
draw an ordinance of
to draw the
intent.
ordinance and do whatever it takes to annex that, so we can get the police up there.
Just for the sake of vote, had a motion by Mr. Chaston, second by Mr. McClanahan, all in favor?
Aye.
And Bud will draw up the ordinance and I'll start the process and then get with your guy.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill, for coming. Rhodes, second by Ms. Lester. Any questions? All in favor of that, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I believe it's a 2-year term. Would be Jeff Kinzer. Jeff has past history on both council and the previous water commission. Was around when they built the water plant, has a lot of knowledge of things, where they are, how they work. Attends all the meetings regularly. Would anybody entertain a motion? Motion by McClanahan, second by Mr. Farley. Any questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And last but not least, the ultimate board person of Lawrence County, Mr. Neil Wilson, serving a one-year term on every board in Lawrence County. No, he's not. He would.
Yeah, he is.
He would if he could. He's great. Neil has, 25 or 30 years experience at AEP as electrical engineer, so great asset on the board. I'd like to reappoint Neil for another year, if anyone would make the motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Chafin, second by Mr. Farley. Any questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, county, we originally, the board, in the interlocal agreement, the board was made up of mayor, city council member, county judge and magistrate, mayor Blaine, and then there was a second type board called a advisory board, which was police chief, sheriff, and director of emergency management. And then those folks would send one of those to the final board. It's kind of not been done that way for quite a while for various reasons. For example, Mayor Blaine don't exist anymore. So we have a document that says Mayor Blaine's on the board when there is no mayor. And so it kind of got fire departments through some concerns at some point. They had no input on the board, so somebody just said, okay, you be on the board. But as we have looked now, with some issues, we need this fixed, and I recommend to the judge that we fix this document, this interlocal agreement, with the changes that I'm gonna say to you. We would approve it tonight and appoint a member to the board, and then the county would have to approve it and appoint their members to the board. The differences in the policy is, we would remove the Mayor Blaine, because they don't exist. We would remove that advisory board that does nothing really, and we would put on the board the judge and the magistrate, the mayor of the city of Louisa, and one council member, which you all would choose and appoint, a representative from the county fire departments. There's 5 county fire departments. The 5 fire chiefs would vote, and with the majority vote, one of their members, don't have to be a chief, can be anybody they choose to represent the fire department. They would submit that name to the chairman of the 911 board, and then the 911 board would approve that person for a 2-year term. That's spelled out in here. Law enforcement would be represented on the board with the police chief and the sheriff agreeing on a name, submitting that name to the chairman of the board. The 911 board would then vote and place that person on the board for a 2-year term. And lastly, the emergency management director in the county, by authority of his position or someone he would appoint in his place, would be on the board. So you're gonna end up with the mayor and the council, judge and the magistrate, law enforcement representative, a fire representative, and a director of emergency management. The board will meet at the courthouse by this agreement on at least a quarterly basis, the time set by the chairman, and all the other rules that are in here. So one thing else that we have found on is, as I can see back, there's never been a city council person on the board that I can, if they have, it's been years and years and years ago. Now, I think part of that reason may be because it's daytime meeting, and I understand you all have jobs that some of you would be limited to get there. But with that being said, I feel like I need tonight 2 votes, one to approve this interlocal agreement with the changes I've spelled out to you there, and then second, could we appoint a council member to the board?
Just as a footnote to that, Mr. Mayor, on the new 911 agreement, it is between us and the county. And today, I took the proposed revision over to the county judge's office and also delivered a copy to the county attorney.
Yes, sir.
And it's ultimately would still have to have
Their approval.
their approval.
Yes, sir. But I seen it in draft form to them the other day, and the assistant said, had no problem with it. So I feel like it'll be good. But Bud's right, it has to be approved by them as well, but it's a starting point. It's a chicken and egg thing. Either we gotta do it first or then do the first one. Any questions about it? All right, do I have a motion, we approve the agreement? I think it's a good makeup of the board, better than it's been. Motion by McClanahan, second by Robertson. Any more questions about it? Kathy, since it's ordinance live, could you call the roll?
Yeah, I wrote it down. I'm sorry. McClanahan,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Farley,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Rowe,
Yes.
and Chapin.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, motion carries. Second, would anybody want to throw their name in the hat? Cody,
Sure.
can you get off an hour once every 3 months?
Probably.
It's on, doesn't it?
Yeah. I can probably do it.
Anybody else? I was trying to think of people that work in town. Would you?
I could, I mean, if Cody wants it.
Rose works in town too, because they don't have enough employees.
I don't work, I'm retired.
It's your all's decision. I figured Joey would have trouble getting out of school. I figured Gary would have trouble getting off. I just think Keith, unless they were on Fridays, you would be out of commission. So,
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
okay.
I make a motion.
Okay. Have a motion by Mr. Chapin to appoint Mr. Rowe. Have a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Farley. Any more questions? Okay, hearing none, all.
17,000 words. I'm just gonna speak from the heart. You all may know me. Hi, Mom. I've lived in this community my whole life, except for those years where I was a screw up in college and trying to find my direction in life. But I'm a town kid. Lived here proudly. I love Louisa. And there's someone in this community working really hard for this town that doesn't get enough recognition, and I think I know why. It's not your all's fault. Sometimes people, they slip under the radar. They come into the community, they make a difference, and you see it, and you know this is someone who needs to be recognized. And I was out running in the middle of the night one day, because that's an oxymoron. And I realized I saw this community member who was just working as hard as they could. And I wanted to know their name. They didn't have a name. That was this new street sweeper. Does a great job. I just really love street sweepers. It's a passion I've had ever since I read this book to my son every night. It's called Digger, Dozer, and Dumper. Got it from the library, one of the free book giveaway. It's really good for him because it says from ages 4 to 8, and he doesn't know I can't read at that level yet, so I think it's the words usually. I read this poem to him, it's called Street Sweeper, every night, okay? And indulge me if you will, because it's full of comment. I think you have to legally. Early morning, empty streets. His word disturbs the hush. Goodbye, grime. It's cleanup time. Here comes the sweeper's brush. His steely whiskers whisper as they gather dust and dirt. They tickle all the gutters. They rinse them with a squirt. He's quiet and determined. He doesn't miss a spot. And when the streets are tidy, he'll clean the parking lot. It's the same response my son gives me because he doesn't understand most words. But I would like to see us have a contest to help, or both help name the street sweeper. It's been shown in many studies, statistically, street sweepers with the name clean 47% better. Okay, I got that off of PubMed.com. Don't fact check me. Google's hard to work at approximately 7:09 at night. Okay, just some out some possible names. Sweet Pea McSweetface, good strong Christian name. We can all agree on that. Okay, just want to say that. Number 2, fire truck. So you can finally tell Councilman Lester that the fire truck does go slow down Lady Washington Street. Brought that joke just wrong. Number 3, Dick Van Dyke. I know he's a chimney sweep, but just no one's gonna know. People don't read. They don't watch the old Mary Poppins movies. Number 4, Tom Brokaw. Solid name for street sweeper. Y'all don't know if he's alive or dead right now because you're trying to figure it out in your head if he's alive or dead. He's still alive, by the way.
He is alive.
He's still fighting the fight. Number 5, Orion. Just write it whatever you want to. And so half seriously, this actually would be kind of fun to do just for the community. Maybe to make this work, when you go eat like they do with the burger contest, you go to a local restaurant, you order something, hey, while you're here, thanks for ordering, vote on the new name for the new street sweeper. That way it can maybe boost, the local economy. People go to the restaurants, hey, I'm gonna go eat at Giovanni's because I get to vote for the street sweeper. I'm gonna go eat at D's for the street sweeper. And I know you're thinking, Mark, no one's gonna do that. And you're probably right, okay? But this is something that I'm very passionate about, naming street sweepers, okay? Any questions, comments, or rude remarks?
Maybe we should call it Mark.
That would be a great name if you want to disappoint my parents. Like I do daily. All right, just a food for thought. I don't know if you do an ordinance or anything about that, but
We wanna do a little contest and name the street sweeper?
yes. And, each councilman pick a name for the street sweeper, put it on the ballot. I just think we should live up to the motto of this council, Justitia, Imini, Uganda, S. Okay? Which roughly means something in Latin. Actually,
I'm sorry.
Actually means I think justice will be denied to nobody is what it actually means. I did take Latin briefly in high school. Don't fact check me on that. Well, my whole life.
Should we get the kids involved in school?
Yeah, let the kids vote for the street sweeper, and then once we have a winner, stroll that bad boy out to the elementary schools. Let them be part of the unveiling. Go to Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't know where they sell tiny little letters to put on things. Make it nice. Maybe go on Etsy. Some starving artist who's also disappointing their parents. Design for it. Yeah. Just food for thought. Think about it. Chew on it. Nibble it up. Don't if you do come see me.
I'd like
All
to
right.
make a suggestion.
Yes.
Somebody be in charge of this.
Rose?
I will be in charge of it.
Not me.
Thanks, Mom. You'll make me proud
I
one
did
day.
notice at the middle school, they're doing the voting thing, like,
Yeah.
does more people love dogs or
The high
cats?
school.
His wife, which is great, she took notes for him. I think several were there, I can't remember who was, but anyway, Kathy does have the minutes ready, I'm gonna get those sent out, thank you, Mark, I'm gonna get those sent out, tomorrow. And then the contact list of everybody that was there, I'm gonna get that sent out. I have followed up with, a few, Sister Pat and some others, and, I got a few more people to reach out to, but hopefully we'll definitely have somebody in place to participate in that point in time thing we talked about, the count in January that I didn't know existed. So, anyway, it was productive. It's certainly not gonna solve everything in 1 2-hour meeting, but the attendance was great. Thought the seriousness of it was great. The people's ability to see both sides was good. And, workforce has decided, I've got to get with Monty, but she's decided that we could get some money from the state and hire somebody through workforce to help us work on this, gathering data from the individuals, seeing who they are, where they're from, why they're here, do they have health care, do they have food assistance? Do they have social assistance? Do they have mental health assistance? And try to connect some of the dots and help them and see if we can at least attempt the situation. Nobody, it was pretty clear nobody has a magic answer, but with a collaborative effort of the whole community, I think we can at least make a difference. It's the only thing I know to do. I'm done.